What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Amos. In this video I'm going to show you guys all the trades you could have caught today on Monday, September 15, 2025. So there was multiple trades you could have caught. I ended up making around $3,000 across my 5 accounts with Tradeify. And today let me just do a recap to show you guys all the opportunities that you could have scalped. So today the first trade you could have caught was based on the daily profiles. So as you guys can see right here, Asian chopped, London swept the Asian low, and then we market structure shifted above the London high. What does that mean? It means that we are currently having a bullish daily candle and we're market structure shifting above big liquidity pools. What does that mean? It means that during the New York open, we will most likely hold bullish beta raise and we will create new highs because that daily candle already formed its down wick. Okay, so right here you can basically trust the fact that London is the real low of day and we're going to have a continuation play during the New York session. This is basically the daily profile. When Asian chops, London sweeps the low of Asian, and then market structure shifts above the Asian or London high. And when New York opens, we're above those liquidity pools, which means that buyers are so strong on the higher time frame that we should hold bullish beta raise in order to create new highs in the market during New York. So now knowing this, let me just show you guys what happened when New York opened. So we pushed up aggressively, and as you guys can see right here, it's the green right here that's going to show up right there. So then when I see this, I'm like, all right, we're most likely going to distribute to the upside. Now let me find a reason on why I should enter for that New York continuation, and then basically London reversal, New York continuation daily profile. So then I go on this 1 minute chart, and now let me try to find a reason on why I should enter. So then price goes down right here aggressively, sweeping this low on ES while it doesn't sweep on NQ, which means that it is an SMT divergence. And when this divergence occur in the market, we know this is a really good sign that a reversal is most likely going to happen. So now we have an SMT with a swing low on the 1 minute chart, and we have this leg right here that created the market structure shift but has this 1 minute bearish fair value gap. So I can tell myself, all right, if we're truly bearish, we should hold this fair value gap in order to create new lows. But if we're bullish though, we'll disrespect it and then create new highs. This is a different kind of play than what I'm basically showing y'all most of the time, but this is a play based on a higher time frame analysis and higher time frame bias based on the daily profiles. You don't necessarily require any beta raise to get hit. You have multiple tries to get that bias, to get a trade towards your bias, and in this case it was, in my opinion, a good try, having your risk below this low and your take profit way above this high. So right here, as you guys can see, if I just go on this indicator right here, you guys will be able to see it pretty well, the power of 3. So we have accumulation, manipulation, and then when New York opens, we want to see that distribution and that daily bullish candle being formed. So now if I go on this 1 minute chart, this is a really good entry during the New York session, and then this is where you could go along with your stop loss right below this candle's low, aiming for a 1-to-1 risk to reward, or aiming for a big drive to the upside, knowing that it will distribute to the upside because we're on a bullish daily profile. So right here we push up, and in few minutes you hit even that 1-to-2, but if you're conservative you can take that 1-to-1 back for the most recent high right here. Okay, but this is a play where you could let it run because it's based on a daily bias and something that don't happen a lot. This is, in my opinion, some sort of A+ setups, because having a daily profile as clean as the London reversal, New York continuation don't happen a lot. It happens around like 5 to 7 times a month. So when you have it, you want to be in those trades for a little bit longer, and these are basically your bread and butters for higher risk toward setups. All right, so this was the first trade that I saw using the daily profiles. Then let me show you guys the trade that I ended up taking with my VIP Discord. So as you guys can see, we're displacing extremely hard to the upside, creating what? Bullish 15-minute fair value gaps. What does that mean? It means that when we're creating gaps, buyers are so strong that there's not a fair transaction between buyers and sellers. All right, what does that mean? It means that there is an area with low volume since buyers dominated so much, and now price is inefficient. Okay, there's an inefficiency right here, and for the market to be balanced, it needs to come back towards that inefficiency really quick, okay, to be healthy. And now what did I see? I saw these bullish value gaps being formed, and then I want to find signs of weakness at highs in order to trade back towards those gaps, because I know they act like magnets. I know that as soon as we form a gap and we're weak on the third candle, we will most likely have a nice drive back down towards the most recent fair value gap created on this 15-minute chart. So what did I do? I saw that this third candle right here was a down close. We couldn't close above the previous candle's high. We rejected, and then we have an unfilled gap right below us. I went to this 1 minute chart, and where is my structure? So now I see that we have a nice 1 minute order block being right here, and I also have a 1 minute fair value gap. But the true thing is, this order block should hold in order to create new lows. So the trade that I ended up taking with my VIP was this one. I had my stop loss being at this high for 5.75 point stop loss, and I had my take profit being at this low right here for a 1 to 2 risk reward. Of course, you could have easily put your stop loss right above this candle's high right here to let this fair value gap be your last line of defense. But for me, I decided that I wanted to see this order block being held right now at the close of that candle, and to see a nice move back down towards the unfilled gap. And what ended up happening was that we respected this order block, and in few minutes I hit my target. So this was a really good play, and the framework behind why I took this trade is really the capitulation play based on my unfilled 15-minute fair value gap. Okay, bullish fair value gaps are being created. I know that if I can find signs of weakness at highs, I can trade back into that gap as soon as this candle closes. So I have the timing and the price aligning together, okay, which is extremely important when you have a system, especially on a pair like NQ, okay, that is super volatile. Now let me show you guys the next trade that I also saw. So based on this right here, let me just show you guys the last trade. So it was right here again. It was a similar trade, so we pushed up aggressively, forming this 15-minute gap. Of course, it's a small gap, and usually you want to target bigger gaps than those, but it was still a good try in my opinion. Why? You had an unfilled gap right below you. So then right here, it was a trade that was worth taking in my opinion. You created that nice breaker, and since you have an unfilled gap below you, you know that this breaker has a lot of chances of holding in order to create a new low. Okay, so now this is where you go short, stop loss right above this candle's high right here, and you target that 15-minute unfilled gap for a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Okay, and as you guys can see, we have the immediate reaction back to the downside, and we fill this gap. And really, the most important thing is understanding the timing of when you should scalp that internal gap, and what are the confluences on the lower time frames to be comfortable in putting your stop loss at an area where it actually makes sense. So looking back at this day, it was a beautiful day, multiple opportunities, one based on the daily bias, which was a London reversal, New York continuation model, which told us that the low of the day was formed by the London session, and that we could trust the fact that in New York session we would basically distribute to the upside, which is exactly what happened today. As you guys can see right here, New York formed this 15-minute gap. We held, created new highs. Okay, extremely good way to find your bias. Then we had two trades based on unfilled gaps, which is a really good model that I keep showing you guys. Of course, you could have played, let's say, longs based on this 15-minute gap and looked for a 1, 2, 3 minute inversion for value gap, but here in this case, there was nothing. So I appreciate you guys so much. If you want to see me live trade this strategy every single day from 10 to 11 a.m. make sure to hit this link down below to join my VIP Discord. And if you want to check out a prop firm, make sure to use Tradeify. They're by far the best prop firm in the game. They have access, they give you access to accounts where you don't even need to pass any evaluations. And if you want a good luck, make sure to use code AMOS for the highest discounts. This is what funds all the giveaways that I do on my Twitter and on my YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much, and I see you guys on the next one. Peace out.